So it's like one of the reasons, great segment to the book. Let me see the book, right? One of the reasons I wrote this book. You got it upside down. Oh, he can't read. It's upside down. A 5% journey from the streets to the cipher, right? Everything in here is symbolism. You see what I'm saying? These is roots. This is my roots. The gun, right? The hand clash is brotherhood. Sometimes brotherhood send you to prison, right? In prison, I went under intense study. Then I came home and I was a servant of the people. Because that's what we're supposed to be, servants of the people, right? And then what's under the roof? That's how I became a law divine. And this is me sitting in a peaceful understanding with the third eye on fleek. You know what I mean? And it shows, I wanted to show my struggle, my journey from the streets to the cipher, right? I'm not a 5%er that had knowledge of self as far as under our teachings and kept going back to prison, right? You know what I mean? I think, you know, you keep going back to prison and you got knowledge of self, you a failure. You know what I mean? Not just the way I see it, because knowledge of self is supposed to have a transformation component. So I'm showing you this is who I was. This is who I am. Right? I've been a 5%er longer than I was a person in the street. Right? But it was because once I understood transformation of behavior, transformation of thinking, transformation of being, how can you still be the same nigga? It's impossible unless you don't have knowledge of self. You might have knowledge of some degrees on some paper. You might be a parrot and quoting, but you don't have knowledge of self. Muhammad Ali said it best, right? He said, if I'm 50 years old and I'm living my life like I'm 20, I done wasted 30 years of my life, right? So when people say they got knowledge of self, but yet they still, like, you know, I can't see how you guard and you gonna sell crack or heroin to our people, right? I can't see how you guard when you wanna rob our people, right? None of them is doing no crimes against the devil. None of them is doing cyber crimes against the devil. None of them is attacking devil institutions. None of them is even selling drugs in the devil neighborhoods. Right? To at least make it seem like, yeah, yo, this is my tactic of fighting war. They just enriching themselves. Look at me, I'm shitting. Right?
Well, I think that goes into what we build on, like your value system. Like, what kind of values did you have coming into this? Did you value? You said you came into this. You had certain values that you didn't have to get from this culture already.
That's a fact.
You had things that was instilled in you from your parents and your people that produced you. And some people just came into this and didn't have that.
Yeah, but that's not no excuse.
No, it's not an excuse, but it's an explanation.
It's not even an explanation, right? Because it's like once you say, yo, I'm putting myself under intense study, right?
And people don't even do that.
I'm not. What they do or they don't do, that's not
what
the
they're
argument.
supposed to do. That's what they're required.
So this is what I'm saying, right? So it's like you saying that, yo, you the father of civilization and God of the universe, right? You know what I mean? So if you saying all these different things, right? And you say, okay, maybe when you a teenager, maybe when you in your 20s. But once you hit 30, 40, 50, and 60, I can't buy that, yo. I can't buy that. You can't tell me you are these mature ages physically, but your behavior is of a teenager or somebody in their 20s. Like, and you know what I mean? Then we say, especially if you a father. Especially if you a father.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so it's an excuse. Right? It's an excuse, right? So it's like, but it serves whatever purpose. It's like cats come into this culture still with a gang mentality. right? So it's just switching out
Because
one
that's the
thing for another.
that's the values that they came with. It's just now learning how to shed that is another process.
Hey God, excuse me, Almighty. I'm God knowledge of all peace.
Please.
See, that's what the knowledge of self bring you. See, the knowledge of self bring
Paul,
you
you
from.
know we recorded, right? So I mean,
Oh,
we recorded. So I don't know if you want to add on to the site.
I like to add on. What the God just said is
I'm saying
important.
I'm recording.
When people come into the knowledge of self, this is what they're coming to go from the dead world to the world of the living mathematics. You know what I'm saying? They're going from the darkness to the light. So regardless of what they're coming in, if they under that banner of who's the 85%er, the uncivilized people, the poison animal eater, slave of a mental deaf and power, people who do not know who the true living God is or their origin in this world and worship that they know not of, and are easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right direction, this knowledge is going to change all that. So they may come in here with gang mentality. They may come in here with just dead world mentality. They may come in here with a church mentality. They may come in here with all kind of things that's contrary to who they knowledge of self is. That the black man is God, of being the highest thing, the mother and father of civilization. This knowledge is what changes all that. Because look at us when we got knowledge of self. Especially if you came to knowledge of self and your mother and father wasn't righteous. You know what I'm saying? So the knowledge will change. You know, if you're sincere with it, but it's going to give you a higher way of thinking, a higher way of living. You understand what I'm saying, God? And I understand when you come in, and just like the God said, because you're going to find a lot of people who might come with a gang mentality. But then they get lost because a lot of them become followers.
As I said, but even with that, you have 5% of the 5%, right? Meaning that there's going to be those who are going to take it and elevate and develop themselves, and then there's going to be those who just want to hang out.
But then God, that's why I tell you, many shall come, but only a few shall be chosen. And those who are chosen are the one who choose themselves to be righteous. You'll find a lot of people want the knowledge, but they don't want to be righteous. I see people want the knowledge so they can run game on people, so they can pull wisdom. I seen 85% just come and they used to be righteous and want to come and see how strong you are. You know what I'm saying? Come and ask you God and got no mathematics and they want to see how strong you are. Where you ask some people, they know that mathematics, everybody know mathematics out there. They know degree. What's the day? 18. Knowledge, build, or destroy. You'll find that people have the knowledge of who chose themselves to be righteous, to live according to mathematics, living mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Not just showing and telling, but showing and proving. You know what I'm saying? They live in this. They show and prove. They represent this nation of gods and earth. You know what I'm saying? They represent that the black man is God and the white man is the devil by their ways and action. They say actions speak louder than words. You know, your name might be this, but let's see what their action be. Just like the God said, I'm equality born. I'll be God's cipher this year. But then for me to run around and acting like a young buck, my pants sagging down and all this, like I'm at the old teacher young. You know what I'm saying? The civilized teacher uncivilized. You know, the righteous teacher unrighteous. So for me acting like that, so what's that? The young teaching the old? I'm adapting their culture when it ain't positive. If they knew where it came from, that's a jailhouse culture. Pants sagging down because they took their belt and their pants. But if you got knowledge and stuff, we mature. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is infinite. You know what I'm saying? As we elevate, we get wiser. That gray hair in your head, God, that's a sign of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? This is what that is. So, hey, Almighty, I love building with you, God, and I hope that added on something positive, because I just came through. Like I said, you on camera?
Yeah, we on camera.
Peace, I'm God, knowledge, Allah, and I just add on to the cipher, God. Peace, God.
Peace, God.
What's your name, God?
I'm Allah Infinite.
Allah Infinite.
Yeah, I know you from some.
Of course you know me. I had now 55 years. Yeah, of course you know knowledge, Allah. Peace, God.
Peace, I'm Allah Divine.
Allah Divine.
Mullah Divine.
Huh?
Mullah Divine.
Mullah.
Yes.
That's peace, God. Mullah. I don't even I know a God named Mullah, but that's great. You know what I'm saying? The Father said, take names from our mathematical alphabet and show and prove, change the Muslim name and get righteous name. So that's what we did. And that's peace, God. I'm glad to see you, God. But see, like, I just been away for a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
But like I said, I've been around. But I'm glad to add on to the cipher.
Now we just add on to God just wrote a book. You know.
You?
Yeah.
What's your name, God?
Mallah Divine.
Oh, okay. I'm ready to say, I ain't understand. I ain't got my little glasses. Look at this right here. This feels like something great. The 5% journey?
Yeah.
The 5% of the journey. Say it all, God. I ain't got my glasses.
A 5% of journey from the streets to the cipher.
From niggas to gods. From niggas to God. You ever read that book?
Yeah. I know you talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Elevation ain't God, that piece. Because what we see and what we live, that's how history is written. What you see and live, you write down. You write down that which was, that which is, and that which will be. You know what I'm saying? We see how a person going, you can predict their history. And God's the best known. You see he eating swine, shooting dope, doing kind of, you can almost predict his history. It ain't gonna be a righteous path, he gonna be a destination he go to. Because if you want a path, you're gonna reach a destination. Everyone, you want a righteous path, you're gonna be a destination of righteousness. Infinite life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna come from here. And this controls this. That's why we teach our baby. That's you in another physical. That's why you teach them. And they represent God. When you find out you're the highest, why would you want to be anything less? Word is born to Allah. Peace to the gods.
Peace, God.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.